Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Evan Watson. I am back for the second time around, second time this week. First of all, I would like to thank everyone on Facebook who was able to check out my top 10 movies of 2014. Got a really good, I got some subscribers out of the podcast, so thank you to those who subscribed to the channel. I'm actually still organizing the YouTube channel, so the fact that I have 2 subscribers already was very good. So big shout outs to Wesley and Rick as my 2 first official YouTube subscribers. And if you haven't checked out my top 10 movie list of 2014, for those of you who know me, go on my Facebook page. It's just my name, Evan Watson. You'll find the link, or you can search the notes. You can search the note app on Facebook, Evan's top 10 films of 2014. Check that out. Comment. Feel free to comment on the page. It's got a lot of responses, so I am back. I am back this time for something completely different. For those of you who don't know, yes, I am a movie buff. I have been doing movie podcasts not movie podcasts. I've been doing a movie list now for over 5 years, so I definitely care about the product. I am also a huge fan of professional wrestling, and I have been since the later half of 1999, so I've been watching this for over 15 years now, and I can say I'm a proud fan. And I'm going to cater to all my wrestling fans this time, and as this podcast is my official thoughts of the 2015 Royal Rumble, which emulated, from a very vocal, aggressive crowd in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania this past Sunday. The 30-man Royal Rumble. Basically, this is the road to WrestleMania for those of you who are aware of it. So the few wrestling enthusiasts I know out there in the Facebook world might want to hear some of my thoughts. If not, if you don't like wrestling, if you just want to hear me give random thoughts on something completely random, that's fine too. But if you're a wrestling fan, this is the podcast for you, because this is my official thoughts on the 2015 Royal Rumble. And for those of you who don't know, every January, the WWE does the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, which starts off which starts off the road to WrestleMania. And of course, WrestleMania is basically the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA Championship, the Academy. It's everything. It's the WWE's big pro wrestling event of the year. They have celebrities. They do a whole week, fan-like, a 1 week conference, whatever access is. It's a big fan craze, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. This year, WrestleMania will be on March 29th from Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. And after the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble has ended, we now know who is going to be wrestling at WrestleMania by the winner of the Royal Rumble. And if you don't know what the Royal Rumble match means, I will quickly explain. How it works is, in the Royal Rumble, you have 30 guys that are into the match, right? Now, 2 guys start off the match, and every 90 seconds, a new competitor enters the ring. Now, how it works is that and 30 guys come out. And how it works is that 2 guys, they fight in the ring at first. More guys come in, basically, and the way you're eliminated is that if you throw your opponent over the top rope and both of that opponent's feet have to hit the floor. So those are basically the rules. And if you win the Royal Rumble match, you are now guaranteed a WWE Championship opportunity at WrestleMania. And we now know that the winner of the Royal Rumble, this year's Royal Rumble, was Roman Reigns. He was the guy that won the whole thing. A very controversial ending. The Philadelphia crowd might have been less than pleased. Might have been less than pleased with the result of that. But basically, that will be Roman Reigns' spot going into WrestleMania. I have some mixed feelings about this. I don't think this was the direction that they should have gone in, but I will have my friend Marvin come in and give his thoughts in a little bit. Now, there was also a championship match at this pay-per-view. A very good triple threat match with Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins and John Cena. And the three of them had an outstanding contest, so I'll get to that as well. And I'll just go in to just the pay-per-view itself. Basically, with the Royal Rumble, they always seem to make there's like two matches. The Royal Rumble is really a one-match show, and you might get a championship match in there. Now, you don't have two champions anymore, right? So it's really just one championship match that's going to happen, and then usually for some reason the WWE, they like to just put in these last-minute throwaway matches in there that don't really make a whole lot of sense. They have no build. They're just trying to fill the card up. But basically I'll have Marvin come in here in a little bit to try and give his thoughts on the actual show. So this is the official 2015 Royal Rumble podcast, and I will be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. This is Evan Watson, and of course, this is my official review of the 2015 Royal Rumble that emulated from the Wells Fargo Arena in a very hostile Philadelphia crowd. With me, I have Marvin Van Buren, who is a longtime wrestling enthusiast and certainly has his thoughts on the direction that the WWE decided to go in, going into WrestleMania 31, of course, March 29th. Now, Marvin, I'm just going to go through the show, sort of ask you some questions. I did not see the kickoff match, but I actually heard the kickoff match was very good. So unfortunately, I can't review the Tyson Kidd Cesaro New Day match. I will tell you this though, Marvin, the Philadelphia crowd, this was a heel crowd. They were not feeling the New Day at all.
Yeah, I mean, Philly is really known for being like hardcore wrestling fans. I should use the word passionate, but yeah, if a gimmick is not working, if any crowd is going to articulate that, it will be Philly. Like, that's a major wrestling stable.
The big cities, like folks, like to me, the big wrestling cities, you have like New York, DC's pretty aggressive, Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, even in Miami, just like the East. The better part of the East Coast seems to be
the three major cities in Texas,
and pretty much in El Paso. LA is a different story. They usually have hot fans, but those are people that come over from all over LA, like the bad parts of LA, good part,
Yeah.
So basically, yeah. And so they open the match. You have the New Age Outlaws. Triple H seems like to dig these guys up every now and then whenever there's some sort of tag team match or just some sort of program. The New Age Outlaws, they were useful last year. They put over the Usos last year as the Usos beat the tag team titles off them, and
they even put over Punk.
They did,
but right before his departure, they actually went and put over Punk. Badass Billy Gunn put over Punk in a throwaway feud, but
it was like some throwaway. Yeah, it was like an overall match. But they usually that's kind of what they do these days. They put guys over. I think Billy Gunn's actually a trainer down in NXT. I read. Jesse James, man, that dude, that's still a pretty good tag team. They can still move, Billy can still work, and Jesse can still talk.
That's the perfect dynamic of a tag team. You have one guy who's not bad in the ring, but let's be real, he's not as physically imposing as badass Billy Gunn. But that guy can cut a promo, and that guy can speak. Look, when he speaks, you're totally enthralled about what he is saying.
One of the great memories left over from the Attitude Era. Now, I'm not big on using that phrase Attitude Era, but basically, you remember Road Dogg from Billy Gunn from back during those hot years. Now, their job this year was to put over this new up and coming tag team that's kind of been struggling. That they've been kind of struggling the first month, and that's the Ascension. The Ascension was a big tag team down at NXT for a long time. They were down at NXT for a long time. They were, I think, the longest running tag team champions down in developmental for a long time. So these guys have been on the developmental scene for a long time, and they go on Raw a couple of weeks, and they decide they have no reaction. Now, I'd never seen the Ascension down at NXT, but I wasn't really that impressed with their presence. I thought their makeup looked kind of hokey. They're beating up jobbers. They're saying they're better than LOD, which I know is a heel thing, but a lot of people seem to really didn't really take that too lightly. JBL's been burying them on commentary for the past couple weeks, and even last Monday on Raw, they did that reunion show. The Ascension comes out. They decide they cut a promo on like the NWO and then New Age Outlaws comes out, and then APA comes out, and then the whole thing just didn't work over too well for the Ascension. And I think one of the guys, I think this guy's name, I think it was Connor. I think that's the guy's name. He cuts a promo on Kevin Nash, Marvin, like, we're born to bred to rip and shred. And Kevin Nash looked like he was just sort of not trying to laugh, basically.
Yeah, like, basically Kevin Nash, like, he did his best to sell that line, but Kevin Nash is notorious for, like, for in recent years to pretty much acknowledge that the creative behind these guys is a joke. So he had to fight back laughter, which was really evident on his face.
Well, it was tough. But then at the Royal Rumble, they decided to do the New Age Outlaws versus the Ascension. The match was probably like 5 minutes. It was uneventful. The Ascension goes over in the match, which is what they should, I guess, which is probably what they needed to do, and probably why the New Age Outlaws was there. The match looked okay. I just don't think these guys are I don't understand what makes them stick out. It's a very sloppy looking tag team. I'm really not impressed with them. Their finisher was okay, but kudos to Billy Gunn for he sold it as hard as he could.
It was a standard match. I mean, the role of the Ascension and the temporary role of the New Age Outlaws is to revitalize a tag team division that's in a dire state. The match again was okay at best. The Ascension, they're going to get the strap later on this year. There won't be a huge tag team. There's just going to be a tag team that fills a void in a dying tag team division. That's all.
Do you think they have any possible spot for them at WrestleMania at this point? Do you see them maybe going to a feud with APA, or do you just see it just kind of dwindling for now? You think it might be a longer time for these guys to get a real comeuppance? You know,
it's 50,
where do you see the Ascension come WrestleMania time?
It's 50-50 because they can feud with the APA. Sure, I mean just because. I mean, it's documented that JBL was under orders, which is this. We'll go into this later. Which JBL was under orders to bury the Ascension from WWE Creative, and that's just a little piece of a larger problem with just overall creative. But they can face the Usos in a very.
I think that's what it's going to lead to.
Yeah,
maybe at Mania, a title match.
Yeah, a title match with the Usos. But honestly, I don't know. I mean, Mania. With the direction that they're going, and Mania for the WWE looks overcrowded right now, and and that's not saying that's it looks overcrowded for people who knows the formula of WWE. Mm-hmm. But any legitimate any like I don't want to say real company that they would have added a tag match, but
and like last year WrestleMania. They actually had a really good tag team match, but it was in the kickoff show, and it was like a multi-team match. And like Cesaro and Swagger, they were really over it. I'm like, this match could have easily been on the cards. I'm for one tired, and I heard how good the Tyson Kidd Cesaro match was with Kofi Kingston and Big E Langston, and that was on the pre-show, and we get this Ascension match on the actual pay-per-view. It's amazing.
That's, again, the workers, they are not represented, and the guys who lack in ring ability are the ones who are shown in the cards. But, I mean, there's no buts. That's just how WWE works. And, that's a larger problem when we're going to talk about later in this podcast.
We'll go later on. They had the other match, it was Paige and Natalya versus the Bella Twins. The Divas division. I'll tell you this, we miss AJ Lee. AJ Lee, she and Paige, they were having some pretty good matches, like, early part of last year. AJ was really carrying that division. We all, of course, AJ is married to CM Punk. And there's that CM Punk, and I guess maybe there's just like a little stench around AJ right now. We haven't really seen her. I guess she's healing up from neck injury. And the problem is with the Divas division right now is because they have that Total Divas show on E. It's almost as if the booking of the matches are just going with the actual reality show. So in a tag team match, it was Bella Twins against Paige and Natalya. The crowd just didn't care. Poor Paige. Paige was trying to get the crowd into it. The Bella Twins went over at the end. It was just a throwaway match, possibly a popcorn match. Any thoughts here, North?
No thoughts. Paige, Paige is the only hope right now.
She's very talented. I like Paige.
She's really talented. She has age on her side. She can actually wrestle.
Yeah.
She's actually good on the mic, but the WWE doesn't know how to... WWE was never good. WWE has been never good to people of color and women. So the division is, it's not a division. AJ, like you just said, Evan, carried the division. But I just want to add just one... Evan knows what I'm going to talk about. I just want to add, AJ has a quote-unquote legitimate neck injury that she's healing up from. But I saw AJ with CM Punk at a UFC event.
Marvin loves CM Punk.
Let's
Marvin's a CM Punk guy.
I'm a CM Punk guy. I was a CM Punk guy since 03.
Yeah.
Before it was cool. And AJ, they're married. And AJ was with her husband at a UFC event. And she didn't look like that neck was bothering her so much. So
maybe they worked something out.
Yeah,
maybe
so
it's possible.
I think, and it's noted. It's actually been pretty much confirmed that the WWE is trying to erase any legacy that CM Punk had on the company. So,
Word. So you might even see someone break that title run soon, which I hope to God not, but somebody might. I'm surprised that they do bring up CM Punk sometimes in specials and network specials, and they'll still even air his documentary every now and then. So
but they still, word on the street is they're trying to erase the legacy.
Yeah, which I believe.
And you don't want AJ, when AJ comes out, they chant CM Punk, and that's something that the WWE does not want.
That they don't like that.
Yeah,
pretty much. And was there a match before the triple threat match? Was there another tag? I thought there was 3 tag team matches. I'm just trying to figure out.
There was supposed to be a Roman Reigns versus Big Show match before the triple threat match,
and they scrapped that.
They totally scrapped it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. I could have sworn I thought I saw a third match, not counting the match that happened on the pre-show. So excuse me here. I'm just going to look up some Royal Rumble results. I thought I could have sworn there was something else happening, but I could be wrong. Hang on, people. Excuse me. All right. What else happened on this show? Oh, Jesus. Hang on, people. Give me 1 second here. I'm on the Ease website right now. I'm just trying to find... I thought there was another match here. There was a lot of tag team showdowns, too, tonight. Even the Royal Rumble match, you just had a lot of, sort of... tag team this and tag team that. I'm sorry, people. I could have sworn.
New Juicy Fruit Gum with Starburst flavor?
Excuse me, that was the website's. That wasn't me. That was the website's noise.
No, there were no other tag teams.
Was that it?
That was
it.
They
They went right to the triple after the pay. They went right to the 3-way.
Yeah, they went right to the 3-way.
Okay, thank God, because this triple threat match was absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Yeah, the as Paul Heyman would say, the reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Brock Lesnar, defended his championship in a triple threat match. I'm so glad they made this into a triple threat match because I thought they were just going to do Brock Lesnar versus John Cena again. And the Philly crowd, they showed what they felt of John Cena, but the true story out of this match was Seth Rollins, who was the last minute ad here. Seth Rollins is, of course, the Money in the Bank winner. He has a championship opportunity from now until Money in the Bank this coming summer. How long has he been Money in the Bank? 6 months now? Or 6-7 months, it feels He won it in end of June. 6 months?
Yeah, probably, at most 7 months.
Yeah, I think it's 7 months now he's been Money in the Bank winner. So, yeah. So Seth Rollins definitely has a bright, certainly a bright future, and he was absolutely all over this match. Brock Lesnar started out the match early, and he was just suplexing everybody to high hell, man. And I can't tell if the wrestlers I can't tell if John Cena and Seth Rollins were selling these suplexes or if they were legit injured. But the opening, Brock Lesnar was just a beast coming out the gate here.
Yeah, I mean, I will blatantly start out and saying this was a 5-star match, and Evan knows how hard I am on rating matches. I I mean, it's just pointless to say this. I have a wrestling background, boxing background. Like I'm really hard on, especially on the E when it comes to matches, because for a decade now, they really had lackluster matches, and they don't know what to do with their talent. But Brock Lesnar, he started the match really strong. It was really intense. The crowd was into it. At one point, they were chanting, "This is awesome."
And I can tell it was genuine, like, this is awesome.
Oh, this is...
Because they chant that a lot now, but I think this time it was like, that was an awesome match.
That was a great match, and Seth Rollins is the MVP of this match. He did a lot of the work, not taking anything from Brock Lesnar, and even Cena. He did a
powerbomb, right?
He did a powerbomb, and to some people that's like, okay, so what's the big deal? But Cena
doing a clean move and not hurting anyone,
is
a feat of itself. You know, the two big spots of the match, I'll sort of go into like the two big spots here. Brock Lesnar and John Cena, they're fighting outside the ring, and at this point, Lesnar's getting a little bit of, he's getting beat up a bit, but he's still trying to hang in there. And this is how they weaken Brock Lesnar. John Cena takes Brock Lesnar and he runs him into the barricade. Now, it was a pretty nice looking spot. It got a good reaction, and Brock Lesnar did a hell of a job bumping that. And then after the barricade spot, Brock Lesnar kind of gets up, but then Cena takes Brock Lesnar, and Paul Heyman runs out of the way, and Cena runs Brock Lesnar through the steel steps. So Brock Lesnar was taking a nice little beating. Was taking a nice little beat down after a while. And I think then Seth Rollins and Cena, they fight a little bit. I forgot how Cena disappeared during the spot, but Brock Lesnar is laid out on the announce table. Right, he's laid out on the announce table, and Seth Rollins goes up from the top rope from inside the ring, jumps over the top rope, and crashes with an elbow drop on Brock Lesnar's chest from inside the ring to the outside on the announce table, putting him through the table, a 6 spot.
Evan watched my face when I saw this, and one thing that I love about good wrestling matches is good ring psychology, and that can make a average match into a good match. And this was already a great match. And Seth Rollins, he had a genuine look of trepidation on his face. Before he dropped his elbow, he looked like he sold it as if this was like, I need to land this elbow to put this guy away.
Pretty much. Seth Rollins, he came off as a desperate man in this match, and I thought it showed really well. And the spot looked so good. We thought Brock Lesnar was hurt.
Yeah. They said that he had a broken rib. Paul Heyman is GOAT. He is the fucking truth. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
It's okay.
He is the truth. Paul Heyman was just like, we need a doctor. And the commentary was saying that, it was reported that Brock Lesnar has a broken rib, and I was pissed.
Word.
I was pissed. I seen guys get concussed. They got concussions before, and credit to Brock Lesnar, he sold it like he had a concussion. He was dry heaving. He looked like he was about to vomit. Once he said he had a broken rib, I was like, Evan, I don't want to watch this anymore.
He did.
I
thought, like, going into the match, I thought Brock Lesnar, there was no one else, there was nothing else, like, Brock Lesnar had to go in to WrestleMania as a champion. I thought that was the only thing they could have done that was the only way that could have worked, and I felt that way since SummerSlam when Brock won the championship. Seth Rollins, they had a match, and Seth Rollins and John Cena, that they fought for a little while, and we thought, oh man, like, if Brock Lesnar can't finish, like, I don't know what's going to happen to the crowd if Cena goes over in this match. They might still like Seth Rollins, but I really think that Seth Rollins' cash-in should wait until after WrestleMania, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But the other highlight of the match is that Seth Rollins did a Phoenix splash, like a 450 looking Phoenix, like a Phoenix splash on the John Cena. The crowd went absolutely berserk. The slow-mo looks amazing. He did give himself a full flip. I wasn't the camera work wasn't great on the landing, but Marvin confirmed that he hit John Cena with that amazing Phoenix Splash. And Marvin, much to Marvin's approval, and then the count hits, and then lo and behold, right before Seth Rollins is about to get a 3 count, Brock Lesnar comes in, makes the save, picks up Seth Rollins, and gives him a vicious-looking German suplex. Seth Rollins, it is amazing that Seth Rollins didn't severely injure his neck during this match, because he was flipping and flopping all over the place, man. So it looked good. Then Brock Lesnar, he gives John Cena a German suplex. Cena rolls out of the ring, and you never see John Cena again after that. So it comes down to Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins. They're fighting. The crowd's going crazy. Seth Rollins gets a briefcase and hits Brock Lesnar not once but twice. It was 3 briefcases.
It was 3 times, dude.
He hit him. 3 briefcase shots. Brock Lesnar is down, and then Seth Rollins. He puts Brock Lesnar's head on the suitcase. He's laying on the canvas, and Seth Rollins is thinking, "I got to put Brock Lesnar away now." So we're thinking that Seth Rollins is going to hit a curb stomp onto Brock Lesnar's head on the suitcase, thinking if he hits that, that's it. But Brock Lesnar, because he's a freak, he pops up right before Seth Rollins is about to kick him. He picks Seth Rollins up, gives him a nasty-looking F5. Seth Rollins bumped it hard for that. Brock Lesnar hits the F5 on Seth Rollins. 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar retains the WWE Championship, and now he is going to WrestleMania to defend the belt.
It was a great match. That's all I can say. Just wanted to say 2 things. That 450 Phoenix Splash was I nearly teared a little bit because that's an illegal move. That's like, because you can die doing that move, and Seth Rollins did it like
seamlessly.
It was beautiful.
It was fantastic,
and it was a great match. And Seth Rollins, he proves that he can work. He's definitely going to be here to stay, and the crowd applauded Seth Rollins.
They did. They absolutely. There was no focus of John Cena at the end of that match. John Cena took his suplex. I wouldn't be surprised if he just left after the suplex. I wouldn't be surprised if he just went back to his girlfriend, whatever. But Cena didn't look that bad. Seth Rollins was a star-making performance tonight. Good job from all three men. A phenomenal triple threat match at the Royal Rumble. Actually, matter of fact, there was actually a triple threat match 10 years ago at the Royal Rumble with JBL, Big Show, and Kurt Angle. They actually did the same match. They had the same type of match 10 years ago. This wasn't nearly as good. That match wasn't nearly as good as this match, but I thought it was interesting that 10 years later they do another Royal Rumble triple threat match. But okay, now here comes to this is the hard part of the show. This is the 2015 Royal Rumble is next. And earlier in the show I explained the rules. You have to get thrown over the top rope. Both feet had to hit the ground, and if you win the match, you will challenge. Now, Brock Lesnar, whoever won the Royal Rumble match, will be challenging Brock Lesnar now for the championship. Now, I want to backtrack a few months now before I get into this thing. Marvin's laughing. Last year at the Royal Rumble, Batista was coming back. Right now, Batista hadn't been in the WWE in about 4 years prior to that point, not since 2010. Batista wins the Royal Rumble last year, and the crowd in Pittsburgh just absolutely took a dump on the whole thing. And in fact, the response to the Royal Rumble last year was so bad, they had to change the main event at WrestleMania 30. Because last year, Daniel Bryan was probably the hottest guy around last year, this time. And he wasn't even in the Royal Rumble match last year. So then people were just absolutely outraged. And it was to the point where Batista had to become a bad guy, and in wrestling they call that a heel. But it got to the point where Batista had to turn heel because his response of winning the Royal Rumble last year was awful. Now, later on at WrestleMania 30 last year, they did the right thing. They got Daniel Bryan in the main event. And Daniel Bryan wins the triple threat match. In fact, it was Batista who actually did the tap-out job to him, so I give props to Batista on that. But Daniel Bryan, he got his moment last year. Now, the problem was, while Daniel Bryan did walk out as the champion last year at Mania 30, he had a series of bad luck came afterwards. He got married Unfortunately, his dad passed away, and then just a few months later, Daniel Bryan had some really bad injuries, and he couldn't wrestle for about 8 months. And as a result of that, Daniel Bryan had to relinquish the World Championship, never having been beaten for it. Now, while Daniel Bryan was out healing, they decided the Shield had been broken up. Seth Rollins basically became the top heel in the company, and Roman Reigns really started to get a little momentum going, as it had been believed for a long time that Roman Reigns was the next chosen superstar. Now, I had heard the chosen one a couple times in the past. I think they said the same thing about Drew McIntyre all those years ago. And for those of you who are asking me who Drew McIntyre is, exactly. Drew McIntyre was a wrestler, was a guy in WWE. I believe he's back doing independent shows, so it doesn't always work out. Now, I'll admit, Roman Reigns, he was getting a pretty good reaction, but his ring work was still pretty green. He worked a feud with Randy Orton that tried to get Reigns over, but it wasn't quite, Reigns. I don't think Reigns was quite there yet, and people started to smell something fishy going on, because the last thing we wanted is another John Cena situation where he just gets shoved down your throats, basically.
This was a mafia hit.
This was a mafia hit, basically, and Roman Reigns got injured. It was a mini injury, but it wasn't. But he got injured for a while. He took 2 months off, and while Roman Reigns was injured, people started getting attached to the guys like Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose. Like, people thought those guys had legit shots at becoming stars.
And it should be noted that Bray Wyatt was maintained his popularity. So
despite the horrendous booking that Bray Wyatt received last year, we'll get into Bray Wyatt in a little second here. Now, a couple weeks ago, I think this was the last show of 2014 on Raw, Daniel Bryan announced that he was fine. He's cleared to wrestle. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. And Marv and I were saying, Daniel Bryan might have to win because it's in Philly. Daniel Bryan used to wrestle a lot in Philly. That's a hardcore wrestling town. And what better story? I can't think of a better story being told than you have this, the guy that's a crowd favorite. He's not the biggest guy in the company, but he's damn sure the most popular. And what better story if Daniel Bryan comes back from injury early, he wins the Royal Rumble, and now he has the hardest task of his career in trying to beat Brock Lesnar for the championship. Now, I understand it might be. People feel that Bryan's too small. It's not believable that he could beat Brock Lesnar. Now, some of that may be true. Now, and even if you were going to have Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan, I would understand if Brock Lesnar won because that just makes physically more sense. But it gave us the better chance of a better match at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan would have been an excellent match, and for those of you, and if you're a true wrestling fan, you know how good that match would have been. There's a reason why I said would have and not going to be.
Evan, there's not much I can say after that because Evan pretty much said. He said it. He said it all. My thing is,
and we'll go to the Rumble match.
We're going to go into the Rumble match. I mean, we're going to talk about what the results and most importantly the reactions of the results. WWE Creative, and when I mean WWE Creative, I mean Vince McMahon missed an opportunity here. He missed an opportunity
of a lifetime.
Oh yeah, he missed an opportunity of a lifetime to tell a great story, and it's like they're so inept. He is so out of touch, and
it was brutal. But we'll go into that in a second. So,
but I just want to say that Reigns. I mean, I don't want to be jumping a bandwagon. I personally have no problems with Roman Reigns, and he's physically he aesthetic. I'm not even gonna just say the very homoerotic thing of he's aesthetically appealing as a wrestler. I'm talking about he is athletic. I believe he can go in a ring. He's no Daniel Bryan. He's no Tommy. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about WWE NXT workers. I'm not even talking about indie workers. I'm talking about he's no Bryan. He's
the actual company
in a company. Let me make it fair. He's not even an Orton. But he's still more athletic than say Cena. He can't speak on a mic, but that can still be worked on. And the reason why me and Evan said Mafia hit because things before the Rumble smelled like
something fishy was going to go on.
And it was in any other circumstance it wouldn't be as obvious, but this is the E and they make it so obvious. With the Instagram pictures and the social media announcements of The Rock being at Philly and him taking a picture with his mom, it's no secret that Roman Reigns and The Rock are cousins.
Yeah.
So you kind of knew...
You knew something wasn't... You and at the time, I still held out hope, but I didn't like what was in the air. The fact just The Rock's presence being there. But I'll go to the Royal Rumble a little bit. A couple of pretty good surprises. The Boogeyman showed up, got a pretty nice little pop, a good little moment there. I think Bray Wyatt eliminated the Boogeyman. DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, he showed up and got a really awesome pop. And the one I was the most excited for was the return of TNA fans know him as Bully Ray, but Bubba, and if you're a WWE ECW fan, Bubba Ray Dudley. Bubba Ray Dudley returned and had a pretty awesome return spot at the Royal Rumble. Now, Bray Wyatt was the first sort of fan favorite that kind of came out of here at number 5, and he just dominated the whole thing. I believe he eliminated 6 superstars. He's cutting promos. You got the belief that, he cut that awesome, bring anybody in the back, this is my year, this is Bray Wyatt's year. You felt that was Bray Wyatt's ring. So we thought, maybe they're going to give Bray Wyatt a gauntlet victory and have him come in early and have him win the thing. Maybe they're going to do that for us.
I'm going to talk about the Bray... Evan knows I'm going to talk about the Bray Wyatt spots because I think Bray Wyatt is going to be a great talent and he's going to be a great talent for the E. But, and I'm not... And, you're going to hear me rip the booking of the Royal Rumble in the next 10 minutes. I'm going to rip it a new asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
But the first quarter of the Royal Rumble...
was entertaining. I loved it.
It was... I will go as far as to say it was booked perfectly.
It was phenomenal.
There were some spots that was kind of jarring, but overall, the first quarter of the Royal Rumble was booked perfectly. With Bully Ray Bully Ray coming in.
That was awesome. Yeah. Marvin knew how excited I was.
Yeah, I was excited to see Bully Ray. Actually, I didn't follow a lot. I'm not going to pretend that I follow him a lot on TNA. Or his early run in TNA with Team 3D I followed, but later on his singles runs as the character Bully Ray I didn't follow as much.
It was a good character. Really, he got in great shape, became a champion, and he really kind of carried that company for a while.
Oh, and yeah, I saw some of his promos, and I was like, wow, okay, this guy's I like this. I like this incarnation of him. His spot with R-Truth, because Devon wasn't there, so they needed a black guy. They needed a black guy to do some Devon moves, which was kind of it shows how racist of a company.
It was like, hey, look, he's black.
Yeah, he can.
R-Truth did the Devon spots.
He did the Devon spots. The Philly crowd kind of called bullshit and screamed, "We want Devon.
We want Devon," but they were happy to at least see Bubba Ray.
Yeah, they were happy to see Bubba. DDP came. He got a huge pop.
Those diamond cutters look really good.
People. I was expecting Randy Orton to come in and do because the diamond cutter and the RKO are the same freaking move, and it'll be nice to see that confrontation. That being said, I was happy seeing DDP. This part of the Royal Rumble was Bray's moment.
That was Bray Wyatt's moment, and there's a reason why they gave you his moment early on too. Now, Daniel Bryan came in at number 10, and then when the countdown hit, it was revealed that Daniel Bryan was the next entrant, the number 10 entrant. The crowd in Philadelphia absolutely erupted to the point where I'm like, I still think Daniel Bryan has a good chance here. Look at that crowd. The crowd in Philly, you would have thought that was Rock or Stone Cold in 99, 2000. Daniel Bryan was that over. The eruptions, there was absolutely eruptions with Daniel Bryan's music hit, and he looked good for a while. And then there were spots in the Rumble where Daniel Bryan looked like he was taking a breather. Bray Wyatt looked like he was taking a breather. So we thought, Daniel Bryan, he might be in this for a while because he's been kind of, taking some downtime. Other wrestlers come in. And then I believe there's a spot where I think Daniel Bryan got rid of Tyson Kidd. And then I think him and Fandango that him and Fandango were fighting, and then Bray Wyatt, and then for some reason Daniel Bryan was caught on the outside of the apron.
Via Rusev,
thank you. It was Rusev that put him on the outside of the apron, and Bray Wyatt just comes up, nudges Daniel Bryan out the ring. That was the elimination, and the crowd. You know what? Forget language here. The crowd absolutely shitted on that moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was the laziest elimination. The moment I'm gonna call him the American Dragon. Anyone who watched him in ROH and New Japan knows he is the American Dragon. Was eliminated. The crowd instantaneously was lost.
All was lost at the Royal Rumble at that point.
They chanted Daniel Bryan. They were chanting, "This is bullshit." It was the crowd.
This is early on. This is before Roman Reigns came out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry, excuse me. That's where. Okay,
yeah.
I jumped the gun. I apologize.
That's okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Prior to that point, as Evan said, Bray Wyatt cut, as I would call, a prison yard promo that made me believe that they're going to get this Royal Rumble right, and it was last year in a Rumble where Bryan and
Bray Wyatt
had this 5-star match, and it was frankly one of the matches of the year, and they missed an opportunity with this shitty early elimination, and it was it was an obvious reason why they eliminated Bryan so early.
And but I still held out hope. We're like, well, Bray's still in the match. Maybe they want to give Bray the rub. But then I believe Roman Reigns came out, I want to say number 19, and then the crowd booed their asses off. It was not a good look. Roman Reigns got devoured early on, and I looked at Marvin over. I'm like, dude, this can't. Like, Bray Wyatt has to win this match because if Roman Reigns wins, it's going to be an absolute disaster. Now, the crowd is now there were some good guys that came out later on. I think Dolph Ziggler came out at number 30, Dean Ambrose that came out, but you knew like the people smelled something was up. You know, you held out hope, but the second half of the Royal Rumble, all you heard was boos because Roman Reigns was in there, and as you get to the final end, I think the final four was Kane and the Big Show, Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, and Big Show and Kane come in. They go through. Hang on, people. I'll take a quick break here. Give me 1 second, people. I'll be right back. Hey, people, we're back here. I was now they eliminated Bray Wyatt, and then it was over. Like they just kept they Big Show and Kane, they got rid of, they tossed Ambrose out, they tossed Ziggler out, they tossed Bray Wyatt out in these anticlimactic, piss poor eliminations. And then once you knew Bray Wyatt was gone, my head went down in my palm, and I was totally dejected because we smelled something was fishy was up. And here's where things got really bad. We are believed that it's down to Rusev, Big Show, Kane. Roman Reigns, Big Show, and Kane. Now, did Rock come out before the Rusev thing? Didn't Rock come out beforehand?
Rock came out prior.
Yeah, The Rock did come out. Yeah, he was out here. Yeah.
This is the point where
Rock came out first. Yeah.
This is where the booking of the booking room was sloppy. Overall,
after Daniel Bryan was
eliminated, it became a mess really fast. But this is where the ending got really confusing because I pay attention to every corner of the ring, and I didn't even notice that Rusev was unofficially eliminated. Like he wasn't eliminated, and which wasn't logical because when Reigns did the lazy elimination of Kane and Big Show, which took him 45 seconds to eliminate them.
The crowd booed,
and the refs rang the bell as he was the winner. But which was weird because the refs knew that Rusev wasn't eliminated, but they rang the bell anyway.
I think it must have been a mistake. Yeah,
it may have
just to try and like throw off.
You try to throw off the fans, but it still wasn't logical if that was the latter.
It was dumb. It was really dumb. Rock came out. He got a good pop. He helped take out Kane and Big Show.
He got a good pop.
For the first 2 seconds.
And then the Philly crowd were like, "No, motherfucker.
No, because we know why you're here.
We know why you're here."
Like Roman Reigns generated more heat. I'm sorry, I'm jumping again here. Basically, Rock takes out Kane and Big Show, right? But again, but then at this point, the audience was just like, "Oh no, don't, please God, please not God." And then when you find out that Rusev haven't been eliminated yet, the crowd in Philadelphia are chanting, "We want Rusev." Because, and remember, Rusev's character is this Russian sympathizer who hates America, and Philadelphia is like one of the first cities of America, so you have a bunch of people from Philly chanting for a Russian sympathizer when you have The Rock in the ring over Rusev. So Rusev comes back, excuse me, people. I'm sorry, I'll do some editing when this is done, so it sounds a little cleaner, but Mermaid John just walked in. So basically, John, we're kind of discussing. Oh, John, ladies and gentlemen, John's here. John, you want to say hello to my 2 YouTube subscribers?
What's going on, guys?
All right. So then Rusev comes in, and then Roman Reigns eliminates Rusev officially, and then this is where the chaos begins, because officially the winner of the 2015 Royal Rumble and the guy who's going to wrestle Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, The Rock's cousin, Roman Reigns.
It got so bad, the crowd was chanting, "We want Rusev." Bear in mind, his gimmick is a Russian sympathizer who hates America in the birthplace of America, Philadelphia. Guys, they started chanting, "We want Rusev." Let that sink in.
We have to get that point across twice because it was that absurd.
Let that sink in. Guys, let that sink in.
It was bad. So, Rock is in there, and here's the thing. And now Rock's getting booed now because Rock's putting over Roman Reigns. He's raising his hand. They're saying hello. They're embracing his family, and they're booing The Rock now. So in one night, John Cena was not the most hated man. He actually had a pretty good match, and all the heat was on Roman Reigns because they thought that this one was bullshit, and quite thankfully it was, because it was like and because Vince McMahon's his warped thinking is, well, you guys got Daniel Bryan last year. I'm like, no, you begrudgingly gave us Daniel Bryan. You didn't put him in the Royal Rumble match, and he had an injury. That's not given. That's just bad luck. But that's the type of that's the type of logic you're thinking of. And Vince just wants Roman Reigns he wants Roman Reigns so badly that he is willing to, for the second year in a row now, potentially sacrifice his main event for WrestleMania because of the Royal Rumble response. It worked last year. Daniel Bryan got in, but I don't know if they're going to do the same thing this year. So I'm thinking Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns is what we're going to be stuck with. I thought this was a terrible idea. The fans absolutely stood on the finish. John, who's not even a big wrestling fan, even likes Bray Wyatt. He was saying that you said you'd rather see Bray Wyatt in there, right? As opposed to something.
What's his first name?
Bray Wyatt. That was
Bray Wyatt.
The big guy. With
Bray
the
Wyatt.
with the beard.
He was very entertaining, and he did his little speech where he threw the mic, and he was really giving us. I've seen Royal Rumbles back in the day in like maybe the late '90s, early 2000s, and they were fantastic.
Yeah,
entertaining. Everyone that got kicked out, for the most part, had a really good entrance and exit. This guy Wyatt was doing a good job. Even Daniel Bryan, he got him out, but I really didn't feel as bad as most other people did about Daniel Bryan getting hit out because it was Wyatt that did it. But
it was Wyatt that eliminated Bryan. Yeah, so
and then Roman Reigns, I don't know where I stand with that guy because I don't really watch wrestling, and when I saw him, I could see what Vince McMahon was thinking. He's just basically another John Cena, but he's the ethnic version of John Cena.
Thank you. Well, he's not true. He's a more ethnic, and he's a better. He's a better.
And I can see he might be a better wrestler, not as stiff as Cena.
No,
he looks a little smoother, and I didn't really hate him. But I didn't think he had the personality that everyone wants as a Royal Rumble champion.
All right, well, I appreciate that. My thoughts exactly on that, John. Thank you, sir. So now, Marvin, what is this? I watched last night because of the winter storm. Raw was canceled, so they just did a bunch of interviews, and I gotta tell you, man, they had a face-to-face with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns on Raw last night in the special edition of Raw. It was a pretty good confrontation, and Paul Heyman was just absolutely phenomenal because in real life, Paul Heyman has worked in the wrestling business for a long time, and he knows a lot of Roman Reigns' family members. With Alpha and CK are the Wild Samoans. I believe CK is Roman Reigns' father. His uncle is Rikishi. His son and Rikishi and his sons are the Usos. So that Samoan family has so layered with so much history, and Paul Heyman knew that, and he actually brought that into his promo on last night. So. What do you see the build being, Marvin, going into WrestleMania 31 with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns?
They're going to pull the trigger on this. Vince, his logic is, or his warped logic is, well, we gave you Bryan, so we're going to go with our guy, and this is going to backfire. This will backfire in their face. They can do some things, but before I really talk about that, I want to talk about the hashtag cancel the WWE subscription.
That was a big thing that was trending.
That was the number one That was the number one trending topic on Twitter all the way up to this morning.
Word.
So that tells you the mood and the tone of the results of Royal Rumble.
The people. Now I read the results. Now I read something this morning. Now people did cancel the subscriptions. It wasn't a significant amount. I think a lot of it just had to do with people just being very frustrated, but it just shows that Vince McMahon could care less about his fans. John, do you see Roman Reigns legit beating Brock Lesnar?
Well, it's not up to me, but
that is not.
But,
do you buy a guy like Roman Reigns beating Brock Lesnar, who, keep in mind, is a NCAA?
Well, here's the thing: if I didn't see either of them, and they were fighting not WWE but UFC, I don't know. They both look like real strong guys.
Which I can give him that. It's fair. I'll give him that.
Lesnar's a little bit bigger, but I've seen him fight otherwise, and he held his own. It's just I just don't know if I care about the match. I just don't know. I care about Brock Lesnar only because I saw him in some UFC. I know Brock Lesnar. He's been in it for a while.
He's a beast.
I don't. And maybe it's because I don't watch Roman. Maybe it's because I really don't know this Roman Reigns guy. I don't know what he is.
Well, a lot of people don't know him too. That's another thing. People know who Brock Lesnar is.
People know who Daniel Bryan is.
But people know who CM Punk is.
People know who Brock. And
it's a weird thing. Now I think Roman will do his best in the match, but I want to get to some other things here. But it is official now. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, WrestleMania 31, Levi's Stadium, March 29th. Now, what I still want to see happen at WrestleMania, and which I think is a possibility, is that, and I think this is how they are willing to protect Reigns if they really, really wanted to. I say Brock Lesnar should go over in the match. I think Brock Lesnar should go over in the match against Roman Reigns, have it be an excellent contest. Who knows? Maybe Roman Reigns, maybe he's frustrated. Maybe Roman Reigns does a crazy turn. Maybe he's frustrated and he fucks up Brock Lesnar, and then he just leaves all angry. Maybe that's a possibility. Mm-hmm. And maybe Seth Rollins with this cat. Maybe Seth Rollins can cash in on Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and then maybe Seth Rollins is the real guy who walks out a champion coming leading WrestleMania 31.
That will be the WWE calling audible. That will be them changing the plans, because as of right now,
the match stays, but I can see the match stays. But the booking after the match can be different. But that match stays, though.
That match stays, but as of right now, Reigns will go over Lesnar, and it will not. We're talking about believability here. Even John is not a casual. John is a casual fan, and he pretty much articulated that Brock Lesnar. He sees Brock Lesnar beating Reigns.
Yeah.
Let me sort of reword that a little bit. Now, I don't know either of them, but if there's a good wrestling match in there, and if something that's entertaining, people are going to watch it, and they might take back what they say about this Reigns guy. If it's a good match,
he might hold his own. I'm very doubtful, because Brock Lesnar, not only is he big and strong, he's athletic, and he's
demonically quick.
He's demonically quick, and he's so diverse in his ring set.
What it comes down to, I think, is since
they have a lot of work to do with Roman Reigns. They have a lot of work to do.
Since I don't know the personality, I don't know about other people that are bigger fans of wrestling, but since I don't know, and he doesn't seem like someone with that big type of, WWE personality, he's going to have to deliver technically.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to see some excellent wrestling.
I think so, and I hope I hope the match is good at 31. WWE in the past they always managed to have an okay to not bad Mania. The build, they've always managed to do something with the build. I really hope I really hope this Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns thing ends up well. I can see Roman Reigns becoming a heel as part of the Audible. Again, I think the match stays, and I think Roman can go over. But maybe if Roman Reigns turns heel, maybe at Mania it could be a double turn. I think that could be a way to go too. So yeah. So I'm just going to take a quick break, and I'll be back with my final thoughts here. All right, people. I'm just going to give my final thoughts here. Marvin's back. I just want to thank you again to John for giving his 2 cents here. And Marvin, I was saying before, do you see a double turn? Maybe Lesnar gets that face reaction. Do you see a double turn? Maybe
face will be a tweener.
Yeah,
Lesnar will be a tweener.
Could you see? I could see Reigns turning heel. What do you think?
Oh yeah, Reigns. It's 80% chance that Reigns will turn heel. This is last year all over again.
Yeah, I think Reigns turning heel might be the only way you can help this. You can kind of maneuver this, because then maybe once Reigns turns heel, maybe a guy like a Daniel Bryan or a Seth Rollins could reemerge as that face. It looks like John Cena is being phased out, and I can't say that I'm sad. I'm happy. I think John could use a break. I think he should probably sit off TV for a long time. It looks like John Cena is going to fight Rusev. He's definitely fighting Rusev on February 22nd at the Fastlane pay-per-view, which is the same day as the Academy Awards. I'm going to watch the Oscars first, and then I'll watch probably the show later. But then they might do a match at WrestleMania also. So we'll see. And we do know that Triple H is going to call out Sting at the Fastlane pay-per-view on February 22nd. And you got to believe it's going to be Sting versus Triple H, Marvin at Mania. You got to believe that's going to be the direction that they're going to kind of going with here. So I hope things work out. I hope we get a good WrestleMania, and I hope the build is really good. And if you're a wrestling fan, I would watch Paul Heyman's promo from last night on Raw talking about Roman Reigns' family, because I think that was the best way to try and get Roman Reigns over as a legit contender. And Paul Heyman can at least attempt to get the audience to try and connect to Roman Reigns on a more emotional level. So I didn't want to do an hour, but we did an hour anyway because we're just that passionate of fans. Thank you guys for listening. Marvin, anything else you want to add here before I sign out?
No.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to my thoughts on the 2015 Royal Rumble podcast. I will be doing some more episodes soon, so keep it locked. Thank you very much, guys. If you're in the Northeast, try and get through this blizzard safe. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye.